You know, that friend who is watching The Office for the ninth time? Maybe that friend is you. While everyone else is rushing to catch the latest Netflix drop, scanning through trending lists, asking, "Have you seen this new thing?" You are settling in with a show you've already memorized. Every line, every reaction shot, every soundtrack cue. And here's the thing everyone gets wrong. They think you are stuck. They think you are afraid of new experiences. But what if I told you that your brain is doing something much smarter than theirs? Let's talk about what is actually happening when you press play on something. You've already seen 15 times. First, the obvious question: why would anyone choose predictability over novelty? We live in a culture that worships the new. New content, new stories, new seasons dropping every week. But some people just don't care. They ignore all of it. And here is where it gets interesting. There is a concept in psychology called the mere exposure effect. Basically, the more you are exposed to something, the more you like it. You are not loving it despite knowing what happens. You are loving it because you know what happens. Your brain craves predictability in a world that feels increasingly unpredictable. Did your job throw you a curveball today? At least Jim and Pam end up together. Is your personal life chaotic? At least you know exactly how Michael Scott's presentation is going to go. Psychologist Crystal Russell's research found that rewatching gives people a sense of control and safety. No surprises, no betrayals, no shocking character deaths that ruin your entire Thursday. Translation: your brain isn't being lazy. It is being strategic. But there is another layer here. When you rewatch something, your brain enters what researchers call a low cognitive load state. You are not working to figure out who is who or what is going to happen next. And for people whose jobs require constant mental effort, constant decision-making, constant problem-solving, that is not a bug. Think about it. By the time you get home, how many decisions have you already made today? Decision fatigue is real. Choosing a new show means risking 3 episodes on something you might hate. Or you could put on The Princess Bride for the 30th time and know exactly what you are getting. Zero risk, maximum comfort. Let me ask you something. When did your comfort show become your comfort show? Because here is what most people don't get about rewatching. You are not actually experiencing the same thing twice. Yeah, it is the same episode, same dialogue. But you've changed. Watching The Lion King as a kid, you are Simba running from responsibility. Watch it in your 20s, you are suddenly Mufasa aware of mortality. Watch it with your own kids and you are crying because you finally understand what he meant about the circle of life. Same movie, different you, new emotional unlocks. And there is something else happening that is even more powerful. These shows and movies become time capsules. Maybe you watched Friends with your sister every Thursday night. Maybe someone you loved introduced you to Back to the Future, and now every time you watch it, you are visiting them again, even if they're gone. Rewatching isn't just about the story. It is about remembering. It is about connecting to a version of yourself that existed when these characters first mattered to you. The person you were before life got complicated. But here is the paradox. While you are revisiting the past, you are also caring for your present self. Therapist Dr. Pamela Rutledge points out that rewatching familiar content actually reduces anxiety and provides emotional regulation. It is like a weighted blanket for your brain. You know the emotional beats. You know exactly when to brace yourself for that scene in Toy Story 3. That destroys everyone. You are not avoiding growth. You are actively choosing peace. Now, does this mean rewatching is always healthy? Here is where we need to be honest. There is a difference between comfort and avoidance. If you are rewatching because the show brings you joy, because it helps you decompress, because it connects you to good memories, that is adaptive. But if you are rewatching because you are afraid of anything new, because you are using it to numb out, that is different. That is when the comfort becomes a cage. It is why you rewatch. So here is what I want you to think about. We live in a world that constantly tells us that newness equals value. But what if the people who rewatch the same shows aren't stuck in the past? What if they figured out something that the endless scrollers haven't? That sometimes the best thing isn't new, it is familiar. That knowing what makes you feel safe isn't weakness, it is self-awareness. That choosing the same story over and over isn't fear of change. It is honoring what actually brings you comfort in a world that rarely offers any. Your comfort show isn't a crutch, it is a companion. It is a little piece of consistency when everything else feels uncertain. Drop a comment and tell me, what is your comfort show or movie? And if this resonated with you, hit like and subscribe because we dive deep into psychology that actually explains how your mind works. See you next time.